It's Wednesday afternoon. No, it's not. It's Monday. I was trying to make a joke of like live at Saturday night, but then I forgot what day it was. If you're rewatching it, you don't even know that I messed up the day, but it's Monday. How come it's Monday? So for today, we will be focusing lots on balance, glutes, ankles, hips, all the fun things, as per your request. It's the people's choice. So if you have 2 blocks, have them available. And if you have a strap, have it available. Carly, good question. Carly was like, what is that in the picture? It's just a strap that's looped. So what I've done is I've looped it so that it's the same distance as like more or less about like my hip points. So like don't think outer hips like this, but think like inner hip points or like your sitting bones, which are usually right about here. That's good. I hope someone just showed up while I was doing that. But if you have something, a strap, a belt, a rope, it's going to be helpful. Otherwise, I will give you an option if you don't have this, but this will be helpful if you've got it. If you have like one of those, you know those bands that is a elastic circle, you could have one of those. Caitlin got to come in and see me just poking. I was trying to show my sitting bones. So if you have the loop, have it about sitting bones or like frontal hip points apart from each other. So a little bit narrower than like outer hips, let's say. You can have that off to the side. We will start with everybody's beloved ankle stretch. So if you've got blocks, you'll use them. And if you don't, you won't. That's how it goes. Get my little clock so that we've got a timer ready. So we're doing a thing that's informed by functional range systems or functional range conditioning. So there's science behind this that we'll talk about as we're in it. The block is not necessary if you have a block or maybe 2, especially if you're taller. All the block is going to do is just make this like not more accessible for you if you're taller. But if you're a little bit like shorter leg like me, you don't necessarily need them. You can just take a bend of your front knee. Back leg, I don't care what it's doing, just have it doing something where it's not distracting. And I'll start the clock now. So we hold this for 2 minutes. So as you get into it, if like in the first second you're like, oh my god, this is intense, back off of it. You don't want it to be intense, just a passive stretch. Okay, we're about 15 seconds into it. You can do anything you want. Sometimes if you're like just really feeling snuggly, you might drape yourself. Hi, Raha.
Hello.
Oh. Yeah, you get him. You get him. Get him. Anyway, all my roommates are here too. There's a human roommate and 2 smelly roommates that are also equally cute. So anyway, while we're holding this passive stretch, I'll explain a little bit about what we're doing. So when you're holding in this kind of passive range, you're about at the end of your range of motion, meaning the angle of where your lower leg is and your foot is. This angle is probably like the maximal angle that your body is like naturally going to make. So when we're hanging in a passive stretch like this, it takes 2 full minutes or like 120 seconds for your brain and your body to communicate sufficiently, or like your nervous system to kick in and be like, oh, this lady is trying to stretch something. But just by stretching, you don't increase range of motion functionally. So at the 2-minute point, once we've got our bodies being like, okay, what's up? What do you want? We're going to start to strengthen this end range. So the first thing we'll do in about 15 seconds is you'll start to press down your foot either into the floor or your blocks at like 1%, and we take 30 seconds to ramp up to 100%. Starts in 5, 4, it's kind of fun. So begin to press down through the ball of your foot as if you're accelerating a vehicle or like pressing something away from you. You're about 7 seconds in, so start to press more and more and more and more, so that by the time we get to 30 seconds of this hold, you're pressing your foot down as much into the floor as you can. So now you're about 20 seconds in, start to press like 80%, 90, 95. Now press at 100%, foot is pressing into the floor for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7. Anyway, the beat of the music and the actual seconds aren't the same. 3, 2, 1, don't press anymore, start to pull your foot away from the floor. As you can see, my foot is not moving, but I'm thinking about pulling it up, sending the top of my foot towards the front of my shin. Woo! You're about 10 seconds into that, so 15, be about 50%, 60%, 70%. Keep pulling your foot up, like you could lift your foot off the floor, but it ain't gonna budge because of this angle. Last 3, 2, get to 100%, try to pull the foot up off of the floor. Like your heel is getting heavier and your front of the foot is getting lighter. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now shift out of that, use your hands to help you, it's nice to help yourself. And then take the leg back behind you, set your hands on the floor. If you can't do a downward dog, you could also just forward fold if that's better, for wrists or whatever. But take a second and notice if from your front, untuck the toes, stretch the legs long. Try a little baby cobra. So lifting chest forward and up. Press into the palms slightly, but more so like pull the chest forward. Sit back towards your heels. One breath here. And roll up to seated. Okay, so a bit of prop arrangement here. If you have a strap, take the strap around your legs. Cool? If you don't, no worries. I'll show you an option once we get down there. Just gonna lay onto your back. So once you're on your back, legs up to the tabletop. Press them out. Woo! So like abduct your legs. Think about one alien, a UFO on either side, and they're both trying to abduct your legs away from you. Do that maximally for 8, 7. Tailbone is heavy, ribs are heavy, jaw is soft. 4, 3. Keep pressing out, but bring your heels towards each other so they squeeze in. Press the heels into each other. Keep trying to rip your band apart. If you've got no band, hands on the sides of the legs. Create pressure with your hands pressing in and your legs pressing out. Keep that pressure, but spin your inner leg forward so your heels will spin out. So you're in internal rotation with abduction. Stay in abduction, pressing out. Go back to external rotation, heels together. We're doing that a whole bunch of times. And you'll really maximize your benefits from this if you keep trying to pull your band apart. Oh my God. Like to me, right here, your outer hips. I've already done this twice today. Not because you should, but because I had to prepare this class. So I did it, and then I already taught one class. So anyway, I'm feeling this quicker than you will, but hopefully you're starting to feel some feelings. So keep going. And exhale, fold. Gotta make use of this time. Inhale, stand tall, lift the arms skyward. And exhale, hands fold towards the heart. One more just to get us back to the floor. Arms stretch out wide, breathe in. Also helps to kind of open up the spine. Breathe out, fold forward. Halfway lift, elongate from hips to armpits. Exhale, hands go down, step or float back, lower. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. From your downward dog, keep your head relaxed so you're looking at your own knees. Lift your heels up. Bend your knees, lower the shins down towards the floor. Okay, so from here, stretch your right, I think this looks like a mirror. Take your left leg back behind you. So this should just still look like my left leg. Lift and lower left leg. Up, down, lift, lower. And then play a game with yourself of like, how still can you keep the torso while the leg moves? That requires some core connection. 2 more. Last one, keep the leg lifted, turn it out. So you'll just turn your knee to face a little to the side. The hip will open a bit. Lower down your right forearm. From this position, bend your left knee, tap your right calf muscle, hi baby, and then open back out to the side. So bend knee, tap calf muscle, open back out. This is, so you'll go a bit into neutral and then turning out the hip. Hip goes a bit square, hip goes to turn out. And rather than just thinking about your left moving leg, also consider every time the leg opens, getting tall on your right hip. So you might imagine like the pelvis, your hips floating a bit off the joint. Last one. Hold the leg out long, flex your foot just for fun, lift and lower. The pinky side of your foot up towards the ceiling. If you want extra core challenge, I don't know, try lifting the left hand too. Woo! If that feels nice, just keep it down, up, down. So watch that your head is not forward. I've been thinking a lot about those of you who are like, hey, neck stuff. Wondering how you're watching these videos. So be mindful of where your neck is and try to use your ears more rather than like looking up with your head. Last 2, last 1. Hold. Burning in the outer hip. This is good. Lower the left hand down, square your left hip, and press up into both hands. So you're back into tabletop with your left leg behind you. Now do move your spine. Round it, pull the knee towards your nose, and stretch back out long. Then knee towards nose, lengthen out. You might add right arm reaching in opposition, and stretch out 4 more times. So core curls and lengthens. 3. Doesn't matter too much about the breath as long as you are breathing. Last one. Hold in opposition once you get there. Arm and leg reach away. Staying for 4, 3, 2. Right hand down. Right toes tuck under. 3-legged dog with the left leg in the air. Knee forward to nose. Round your spine to plank. Then lift back up. 3-legged dog. 2 more. In and forward. Up and long. Last one. Hold the knee towards your nose. Step your left foot behind your left thumb tip. Dome your fingers. If you want blocks, you can always use blocks here, especially if balance is tricky. Or if you're one of my pals who's like injured one of their ankles, blocks will be your best friends. Staying here, just fortify this left hip into the body so it's not wagging out to the left. 4, 3, we go to warrior 3, a balance from here. Lift your back leg up. Again, if you want props, the blocks can be underneath of your hands. Find the balance for a second here. 2 more breaths. 1 line from your foot to crown of head to the best of your ability. 1 more breath. Single leg squats with or without the help of blocks. Bend your knee, straighten the leg. Bend and straighten. You can see mine is not a very big range of motion. That's okay. 4 more. Ugh. Like reminiscent of Amber J's fusion. Last 2. Final 1. Hold the knee bent, step back, lift your arms. High lunge. Head. From here, turn on your back heel. Front leg stays the same. Warrior 2. Hold. Turn your eyes to look down your front arm. Feel that your head is over top of the hips. 2 more breaths. Press your left foot down into the floor. 1 more breath. From here, you'll bend your right knee, Skandasana towards the back of the mat. So So bend your right knee like a half squat, and then press back up, bend front knee. Back knee bends, front leg goes towards straight. Warrior 2, front knee bends, back leg goes to straight. Try that 2 more times. So you're just moving in the hip joint in both directions. Last one, I can see you in the mirror. Come back up to Warrior 2. That was a little break for the front leg. If you have the block, use it. Lift up. Warrior, so this is not warrior. Half moon. So it's very reminiscent to the shape we already did on hands and knees. It was on the other side. Hold here, maybe top arm lifts towards the ceiling. Here's the balance you wanted. Check out how this feels. One more breath. Step to the top of your mat so your right leg will step forward. Halfway lift, elongate through your spine, breathe in. And exhale, fold like a little noodle. Roll up slowly through your spine. Maybe sip coffee if you need it. Second side, inhale, lift the arms up and overhead, breathe in. Woo, this should feel like a big flush as you fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Ground your hands, step or float back, plank through lowering. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Notice how the legs feel. Notice how your spine feels. Where's your breath and attention at? One more moment here. Lift your toe or your heels. Lower your shins down. Tabletop. I'm just going to turn so you can still see the side of the body. Right leg stretches back. Lift and lower. Whoop and down. And then right away, like if you're sinking in that left hip joint, try not to. You might keep a little space between the leg and the bottom of the pelvis. 2 more. Last one, leg stays lifted, pause. Lower your left forearm down. Turn the thigh bone out. Bend knee, tap calf. Open out to the side. Quicker. Bend, lengthen. Down, up. Is this song quicker than the last one? I guess it was. Normally, I really try to keep the BPMs, beats per minute, like the same on both sides. Again, get taller on standing leg. Last 2. Final one, hold the leg up and lift it, turned out. Flex the foot. Optional, maybe lift the bottom arm, leg lifts up and down. Little lift and a lower. Woo. Fun, right? Feel outer glute. Keep getting tall on the supporting leg. 4 more. Pull the ribs back a little. Last 2. Final one. Turn the hip towards the floor. Hand down, other hand down. Round spine, knee pulls forward. Leg lengthens long. Bend knee, round spine forward. Lengthen. Maybe add the left arm. Pull the limbs together. Stretch them apart. Feel your internal rhythm. We all got it. 2 more. Core supports these movements. This time, hold the limbs in opposition. 1 full breath. Left hand down. Left toes tucked. 3-legged dog, right leg in the air. Knee towards nose. Round your spine to plank. 3-legged dog, leg goes up. Twice more. Knee pulls forward, spine rounds, and goes up. This time, pull the leg forward toward your nose. Step foot behind the thumb tip. Just take a moment to fortify your lunge. So you're still hands on the floor or finger tops. If you got blocks, feel free to use them. Open the chest, full breath. 1 more. We go from here to warrior 3. So stand into your standing leg. You can use the blocks if you need to. First, establish yourself in a real strong position, then bend and straighten. 8 times. Down, up. Single leg squat. And if you haven't been to Misfit Studio Fusion class, well, you got a little preview here. You gotta come for the real thing sometime. 2 more. Last one, hold the bend, step back, high lunge. Inhale, lift the arms. Open to warrior 2. Arms turn out to the side. Stay here for a moment. So establish this position. Establish having 2 feet on the floor, which feels kind of good after that, yeah? Steady your eyes, your gaze. Skandasana, bend your front back leg. Front leg goes to straight. And rebend front knee even. You can do whatever you want with the arms. I like a little turnout in my back leg. And I'm not bending so far that my back heel lifts. So that way it truly is a half squat. We want that for where we're going. It's all intentionally put together. One more time. If you're working ankles, hips, knees, all the things that we want to keep lubricated. Hold your half moon the next time you are there. Then a little bit of a tip forward. Might heel toe the back foot in a bit to make the lift towards half moon not feel quite so scary. This is Ardha Chandra or half moon. Feel it? Woo! I like pulsing a leg, I don't know why. Maybe top arm lifts up towards the ceiling. Turn the right nipple towards the side, not towards the floor. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step forward with your left foot. Move the blocks to the side, halfway lift, elongate your spine. And fold forward. Relax your head. Relax your arms. 1 breath. Roll up through your spine, bone by bone. Notice how your feet feel. Woo, I feel really grounded through the feet. It's good. All right, once you're standing, if you have a heavy weight, grab it. We'll start with the weight in center actually before we go to the offset squats. So turn your feet out, have them at least sitting bones distance apart. I like outer hips apart, and with my toes at about 10 and 1. You might be different. But squat. Bend both knees, squatting down, and press back up towards straight. Bending, and yours might look different than me, it's totally cool. If you don't have a weight, try taking the hands behind the head. That'll help. one-legged stand. Try to touch your butt to the chair, both sitting bones touch down, and stand up. Woo, that's the last one. Switch other side 8 times. Bend and straighten. You might have more range. Watch how uneven this is. Whoa, I can get to the floor on this side a couple times. Not for many, but for a couple. Whoa, that was it. And then I'll do the rest half baby ones. Halfway there, 4 more. Don't give up. Just breathe. Last 2. I'm dripping in sweat. Final one. Stand up tall. Lower both feet to the floor. Big stretch up and overhead. Breathe in. And lower your hands down as you breathe out. Susie Q, your feet back in under your hips. Try to press them completely together. One more time, lift the arms up and overhead. Big breath. Side stretch towards one side. Inhale, center. Side stretch other way. Come on back up nice and tall. Flip your palms outward. Stay this long, this connected for your whole day. Woo, hopefully you feel good. Ankles are like, yeah, I got some mobility. Hips are like, yeah, I got some strength. And heart is like, hey, I got another day. That's pretty damn good. Thank you. Grateful for all of you. And hopefully that was a nice time. Jack Beal, nice to see you. But yeah, seriously, I'm wondering about the neck thing. I'm like, I'll try my best to be as articulate as I possibly can. But like when we're doing this kind of stuff, if you're like, what? What are you doing? That might be a thing. So be mindful of wherever your device is set up, that it's set up in a place where you don't have to like turn to one side or like lift your head way up if you do have to look at it. Cool? Yes, Rob, your butt is on fire. You are so welcome. I'm so sweaty. Wow. All right. Bye, Susan. Bye, Carly. You're so welcome. Who's Sabraco? You are so welcome. You are fire. Look at that. All right, bye. See you tomorrow.